Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today we're going to be talking about Ultraman episodes 6 and 7. We're going to start with episode 6, of course, because even as much as I like the number 7, episode 6 does come before 7, at least in most math. Even people who are mathematically challenged, like your humble agent. But before we get too far into it, please like, share, subscribe, vote the poll if there is one, and if you're wherever you're watching or listening, please watch for a couple more minutes. It really helps the algorithm. As a housekeeping note, I did find out that we very much could publish our 7 Song Fridays on YouTube, so I have done that. And watching us there, we really appreciate it. So let's get on to the episode 6 here. This is called the Coast Guard Command. And that's because they're on the coast, I guess. I mean, they're in the water, right? So our episode starts out here. There's been some problems around the docks with some ships. And Hoshino and his friends are playing around there, because where else would little kids go out and play? There they are. I don't remember any of their names. The guest actors, I think the little girl is Nobuko, and then the other kid is Chiro, possibly. He has a problem with losing his shoe, but he also loves chocolate. But while they're looking out there, they find the monster Guesra. Now, Guesra is from South America, and it also loves cacao or cocoa, depending on what you want to say. It's generally a small lizard, and I don't know. There were no subtitles on this one, so if there's a reason that it grew into a large size, they don't know exactly what it is with this shot. It's just a teaser. So we just don't know. So then, while they're snooping about, they see this gentleman known as Diamond Kick in the U.S. dub, and Saburo Nakajima in the original in the Japanese. He's a smuggler, and he's got a henchman. So the kids immediately go down there and investigate, because they're dopes. They don't call anyone; they just are dopes. Then they do call the science patrol. Hoshino does, and tells them that, oh, we've seen a monster, and Arashi just laughs at him. You'd think that even in 6 episodes, that when giant monsters are roaming around the earth, and one would think that the science patrol would be out there looking, since there's a science patrol, that they're looking for giant monsters, they'd be more inclined to believe the kids, but denied. Then they find a kindly old sea captain who tells them all about Guesra and how it loves to eat cacao. Now, Guesra is portrayed by Teruo Aragaki, and this is the only appearance for many years. I do think it shows up later on in some other in these newer shows, but I couldn't tell you for sure because I haven't seen him. There he is in all his radiant glory. Now, this right here is very important, though that's not what they say in the English dub. But it's after the cocoa beans or the cacao in all of the ship's holds, and Diamond Kick has been smuggling diamonds in. What a surprise! Did you get yourself your big bowl of hummus of perfection? All right, very good. So here's I think that's Hayata and Ito getting into the VTOL, and there it is taking off. If these were from the Blu-ray, they'd look great, but I can't complain. And there it goes, zoom! Lovely miniatures, just gotta love them. And there's Guesra rising out there, destroying a ship. Now, these ships are either too small or they're not in scale. It doesn't really matter. It just gives Guesra something to destroy. There's Diamond Kick and his henchmen grabbing the kids. They put 2 of them in bags and throw them lock them in a storage unit or something. I don't know. But Hoshino there has got some skills that he hasn't told people, like picking locks. I think that's very funny. I don't know. Maybe the Science Patrol, it's innovation. Maybe he learned it from Hayata or probably the captain. Wouldn't surprise me. There's our heroes or our villains with their hooch and their, their transistor radio, top of the line, and they're still looking for their diamonds. It's hidden in the cocoa beans. So guess what's going to converge? Here's a book with Guesra in it, which has nothing at all in English, but a nice drawing. Shows how it crawls around on the ground on its knees. Here's a lovely Science Patrol lands, and you get this lovely forced perspective shot. They just put that right there. Looks great. They edited it real well. The kids are the burglars. Can't catch the kids because they're the same, type that Ichiro in Godzilla's Revenge had to face, and later on got ripped off by that Home Alone movie. And a nice little matte shot there of Guesra looking in and surprising diamond kick. Just miniatures. I don't know why it's always embiggened, but we'll keep working on it. I did learn how to do transitions. Not that anyone has said anything, but I love these process shots just because they look really good. Tsuburaya had that Fancy Dan, Reed August book, A.G. Tsuburaya, Master of Monsters. You'll find out what he has. Hayata has been trapped, and somehow the beta capsule has gotten out of his pocket or his suit pocket, and it's there. We had to have something that caused a little suspense while Guesra is knocking things down. Will Hayata be crushed? They use the spider shot and the gamma gun. I just like these pictures. Just love animated rays. Always have. These things don't phase Guesra at all, who's a lizard from South America. He got it, and using the beta capsule, Hayata becomes Ultraman. Picks them up. Here's another little nifty little shot there. Look at that. Not even a line to show it, but just really nice. Now, this is probably just them being in front of a screen. So, looks great, though. Still with the Type A mask. You can see where Bin Furata could see out of that's all the vision he had. It's amazing he didn't get killed or seriously injured. And now the fight begins. Guesra, look up here. And then he kicks him. So we just have a couple of these shots just because I like the miniatures. Look at how detailed these are. It's really well done. This is not one of my favorite episodes because you kind of feel sorry for Guesra because at the end, they yell at him what to do, like you can hear him. He's fighting in the water. He has to rip off that comb, and then Guesra dies. The end. Ultraman looks self-satisfied. Now, I do think Guesra might have gotten taken to the Ultra Zone to live in peace, but whether it was a mutant or not is beyond me. And at the end, Hayata comes back with Diamond Kick and his minion, and I don't think the Science Patrol was particularly a military branch, but I would assume they might be deputized to arrest smugglers because I don't know if they caught him with anything. At least the kids could testify against him that they held him under, tried to kidnap him and might have done more serious damage. But that's the end of our episode here. There's the celebration for them helping little kid here. They bring him out chocolate, loses his shoe. The end. I did forget there was one more picture. That is the Surf Coasters providing our musical interludes with their theme or version of Ultra Q. Surf Coasters are a Japanese surf band, and they're really good. 3-piece. I mean, that's a lot of. They put out a lot of music for 3 guys. I don't know if they're still around. I had that CD, 100 years ago. So things are crashing in the desert here. They're mysteriously disappearing. It's a lot of the SSP, the Science Patrol divisions worldwide. So, of course, our an agent from Paris. Everybody always comes from Paris. That is a liaison Jim, who is played by Edgar Kaiser, probably German, but he's dubbed. both in Japanese and in English. And he's smoking in the car. That's just, sign of the times, 40 years ago, almost 60 years ago, pardon me. Wait, 16, 20, yeah, 60 years ago that you could still smoke in cars with people. So they get him to the science patrol room. Introductions are made. They decide that they're going to go looking for this problem here. I just like this shot. It's kind of cool. With Cap there, with Captain Muro with his pipe there. Nobody else seems to smoke. I don't think, but these two did. So they get to the desert when they almost run into this weird light cone. Straight up, and it's gigantic because that's not a small VTOL. Unfortunately, it damages everything. Lovely miniature here. It crashes. Did I save the other one? There it is, covered in dust and dirt, mostly dirt. Our heroes are injured, but Hayata's fine. But there's no. It's a magnetic pulse, so of course they didn't know. EMPs were not known at the time, so they didn't know what caused it. But it's all right. Okay, and then Ito is damaged, but he's the first one to see the monster, Antlar, which is one of the most iconic of the first series. I think it's a great looking monster. It's one of my favorites. It's super tough, and I'm surprised it didn't make more of a comeback. Everyone loves Red King. I love Gamora, but Antlar is a pretty good monster. So just another shot. This was all shot on the same sets for the movie. Let me get this right. Tell you here in a minute. Filming location of Barati. It's called the Bluestone of Barati because I forgot. We're into episode 7. It's the set from the Toho film Kijanu no Boken, which they did not provide a translation for, but it starred Toshiro Mifune, Mr. Clint Eastwood of Japan. So they just, you had lots of sets that they could use, and why not use it? It's like Star Trek would use sets from other TV shows because it was cheaper than rebuilding them. That's why you saw them as Indians and you saw the Nazis there, and just pick one, and they were using somebody else's set. So here's our VTOL, what's left of it. You can see Antlar is about to make an appearance, but it is broken into pieces. There's no way that thing can fly again. I mean, they don't have any communication with the outside world. They're in Dutch, as we used to say back in the 70s here in Fossil Bed. There's Antlar getting zapped by the spider shot. And now we find out the source of the magnetic beam, and it's a rainbow beam. And look at those antlers. I mean, Antlar is an ant-lion monster, which ate ants rather than was an ant. But, he's got antlers, kind of, with the mandibles. Play on words there. Here's our Kingdom of Barati, which is also part of the set that they use. Obviously, this is a matte painting, you can tell. But it's just really nice to see these that aren't, generated. Here's some of the people. This old woman is one important. It's a small little town. And one wonders how they ever had children because they couldn't have too large a gene pool. But maybe wanderers came through. Here's the Empress who, let me see if we've got a name here for her. Guest actors. I think that's Chartham, but I don't remember what she was in the English dub. Played by Keiko Yumi. And then there's a couple other, probably Yoshiko Maki is the old woman. Antlar was played by Teruo Aragaki. And of course, Ultraman's been Furaya. There she is, an attractive young lady. I mean, with a wig on, obviously. She's not supposed to be Asian because they're in the Middle East, in the desert, but, it's all right. So they've got a thriving community here with, a nice little city, but this is about as many people as we see. Nice sets. I mean, obviously built for another major motion picture that they got to keep. And she tells them that they've always been protected by, in the subtitle, it's they were protected of the god of Noah, but in the English dub, it's Ultra. And here's our MacGuffin there, or key to it's for foreshadowing. All right, And then their Antlar decides that, oh, he's had enough of this. He's going to attack the town. She's saying that the Antlars never attacked the town because that stone and Ultra has protected it. So obviously Ultraman's visited the Earth in the past. There's some scenes here where she looks directly at Hayata when she talks about Ultraman. She can speak English or Japanese because she's telepathic, and she's not really. They hear her words in their mind as, German or whatever Liaison Jim happens to be, or Paris French maybe. We hear him as English. But some really great scenes of destruction here and more zap shots because it's just cool. And old Antlar responds by using the magnetic ray and pulling all the guns away. The old woman's had enough. She's had all she can stand. She can't stand no more and goes all Popeye. And then that spurs Hayata to go find a way and turn into, once again, the secret identity thing. Turn into Ultraman, and the battle begins. This is a great shot where he lands, kaboom. This is one of my favorite episodes because it, adds a little mystery to Ultraman. He's been on Earth before. Was it him? Was it one of his ancestors? Because we do know that he has brothers, mostly in name only, but they do. I mean, Seven has a son, and etc. And Taro has two parents, but we're getting into the weeds. And there must be some kind of metal in here because that magnetic ray pulls Ultraman at him, and they have some really great shots of Antlar burrowing, which is not easy to do. They don't show him underground; they just show him arriving, And then there's a fight. He's immune to the Spacium beam. Now, not too many creatures are, but there are a couple here in this first run that just shrugged off the Spacium beam. And then she finally, Chartham, goes and gets the blue stone of Baradi from Ultra, even holding a beta capsule. Come on, guys. Gives it to Captain Mura, who gives it the old heave-ho, and kaboom! That's all it took. Antlar's dead, doesn't blown up, but dead, at least inert. Ultraman's, happy, and they leave. And in the dub, I thought this woman died, the old woman, but she's alive, so that's good. She only got knocked unconscious. And who knows how old these people are. There may not be any children in this town. But everybody leaves, they wave goodbye, and it seems like they talk about how people will come back here to this town and make it prosperous again in the English dub. But I don't know, it's kind of vague. And they fly off. Now, where'd this come from? Obviously, they still had their transmitters on, and even in a science patrol had enough wherewithal to, track their people. They knew in the general direction they flew and when they stopped hearing from them. So Fuji probably flew out, or there have to be other members of the science patrol than just those 5, right? They have a support staff. So somebody came and got them, but they don't say that, at least not in English dub. They just fly off. And now that we've talked about this, we are done here for these 2 episodes. And until our next assignment, I think I can do a fade out here too with the picture. This is X7 signing off.